Now, he says that the principal repaid as EMI is tax deductible under Section 80C. He wants to know if the principal returned as partial payment, is that also tax deductible?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, whatever principal repayments you are doing, as long as you are doing principal repayments, which all falls under the aggregate category of ATC. So technically, just assuming that you have no other deduction under ATC and you have paid your principal or repaid your principal partially or via the EMI, as long as you are within 1,50,000, or even if you've paid more, 1,50,000 is all your deduction that you will get. So you can enjoy it completely, whether via EMI, whether separately, whether multiple times you pay extra principal repayment back to the bank, whichever way you do it, as long as you're within the 1,50,000, you'll get your benefit.
Okay, so you are eligible for that benefit there under Section 80C. Let's move on. We have a question that's come in on our website, www.mbnow.in. Vinay has written in, and he says that he has an income of 22 lakh rupees per year. He's 32 years old, Karthik. He's unmarried and currently repaying an education loan that he had taken for rupees 15 lakh. The EMI on this loan is 30,000 rupees. Now, he has completed 2 years of payment, is left with another 5.5 years. How much home loan is he eligible for currently? He's already paying a very expensive loan over there. How much home loan can he take, or should he take a home loan to begin with?
Well, I mean, that frankly is a factor of whether he needs to have that home or not. If it's an investment, then, we can think about other alternatives for the time being. But having said that, education loan also, he's getting a certain amount of tax benefits. So let's not sort of completely overlook that. So that is one benefit which is already there, and you have to obviously repay your education loan. It's quite a responsible thing to do as well for him, because he's paying his own education loan back. Now, moving on to property. So first, let's just understand the basic mathematics of this property loan, how it works and what you need to do. So the amount of loan that you're going to pay is directly obviously related to your repayment capacity, which in turn is dependent on your income. Now, 22 lakhs of income. So let's say we're assuming an income of close to somewhere in the range of approximately about 1,80,000 or so per month, which means the banks would ordinarily very happily allow him to pay an EMI of somewhere in the range of about, say, 80,000 to 100,000, 70,000 to 100,000. That's a very broad range that I'm taking. Assuming that he's a young person, even if the bank allows him, say, about 90,000 rupees of EMI, but out of that 90,000 EMI, 30,000 is already servicing an education loan. So which means as of now, 60,000 rupees is something that the bank would most likely, in my opinion, allow him to pay. Now, what that 60,000 means is that he will get 60 lakhs of loan, because the ballpark calculation that we do on a loan which is about 15 to 20 years of tenure and which is available at about 9% to 9.5%, the EMI for that kind of a loan works to 1,000 rupees per lakh of loan borrowed. So therefore, if you have 60,000 repayment capacity, then that means your loan is going to be somewhere in the range of 60,000, 60 lakhs,
Karthik,
and then the bank might give 70.
Karthik, you just said that the bank will, assume that he can pay around 60,000 rupees of EMI and give him a 60 lakh rupee loan.
That's right.
Now, that is what the bank says that he's eligible for.
Correct.
But, if you look at it in a very, from the point of view of financial planning and how you should really be planning your money over here, 22 lakh rupees income per annum, he already has a loan. How much can he really, how much of this can actually go as loan EMI? Ideally.
That's a fabulous way of looking at things. We obviously say that you should not try and go beyond about 20 or 25% of your income for repaying a home loan. And all your loans put together cannot exceed about 45 to 50%. And these kind of ratios are completely acceptable when you are just about starting your life, or you're in the first 10, 15 years of your career, and which is exactly in. So which is where if he spends about 50% of his total income paying EMIs, then that's okay. The bank or the institution might even give him a little more, but then we would have to control our requirement right now and stick with that, because simultaneously we also want to start planning for retirement and all the other life goals that we may be having. So I think it's a great perspective that you've put in, and therefore 60,000 of that home EMI plus 30,000 of education loan, say about 90,000 to 100,000 is fine, because from the rest of the money, he will still be able to save about quarter of his money. Of course, we are not considering taxation here, but he'll still be able to save a quarter of that. Some money will go in taxation, and the rest of it, some about 30, 40,000 might even go into his, living expenses, or probably even lesser, considering he's a young, person right now.